Am I doing enough? Over the last 7 years of advising premeds, that's the most common question I get. And the brittle answer is no, you're not. But it's not because you're not trying hard enough or you're not smart enough. It's because you don't have enough time.
What I've done now is I have changed and manipulated time. I now get 21 days a week.
It's not quite like that. We premeds all have the same 24 hours. You just don't know how to get ahead by using your time better. 10 years ago, I was just like you, starting my pre-med journey at UCLA. And the secrets I discovered about time management there helped me get into med school. Today, I'm an anesthesiology resident. I'm also the co-founder of Premed Catalyst. And most importantly, I've been in a committed relationship for the last 6 years. So if you struggle with productivity or time management, this is the exact system I follow to take control of my time. Starting with number 1, the Eisenhower matrix.
Things are either important or not important. They're either urgent or not urgent. And with these two qualifiers, every task can be plotted within this 2x2 matrix. For tasks that are important and urgent, you want to do those tasks and do them first. For example, I need to analyze the data so I can submit my abstract this Friday. Most premeds think that this quadrant is the most important, but they're actually wrong. It's this one here, tasks that are important and not urgent. Here, you want to plan. You miss one day and you don't feel bad about it until now you need to do 3 months of studying somehow in one all-nighter. This is the quadrant where premeds separate themselves. For example, on my Thursday morning block when I'm free from class, I'm going to plan to write the introduction to my paper, even though the paper itself is due in 3 weeks. Tasks here that are not important yet urgent, go ahead and delegate or batch or minimize these. You don't have to drop everything you're doing right now to respond instantly to that GroupMe poll about where you want to do the club fundraiser. My personal favorite is for tasks that fit in this bucket, ignore them until the last 30 minutes of the workday. Then you just go ahead and knock them all out at once. And lastly, we get to this quadrant, not important and not urgent. Go ahead and delete those. You don't need to check Canvas just to see who responded to your post. You don't need to go to the club meetings that meet once a quarter and do nothing all year. Just get rid of them.
When you use the Eisenhower matrix daily, you begin to understand that true productivity is not how many hours you study. It's not how many tasks you do. It's how you can prioritize the most important things to be done. That's what the best premeds do. And that opens up time to build competitive med school applications, the ones that get accepted to your dream med schools. If you'd like to see real strong examples, we have 8 full AMCAS applications that got accepted to some of the best medical schools in the country. Over 18,500 premeds are part of our community. To join, click the application database link in our description box below now. And now that you understand how to categorize your tasks, you'll want to know how to best organize your calendar. That brings us to number 2, scholar versus scrambler. Premeds wear many different hats. On one hand, we're scholars. We study for midterms, we complete projects, we conduct research and write our essays. And all of this requires deep work, uninterrupted time to think and process. And this can involve anything from a long walk in the park with a notepad to just taking a long hot shower to think about a difficult problem. The most dangerous mistakes to scholar time are interruptions. A single notification can throw away an entire hour of work. On the other hand, we premeds are also scramblers. And to be clear, that's a good thing. We're scrappy. We need to submit our housing records and upload our vaccinations for hospital volunteering. And don't forget to leave the 2 mandatory comments on the discussion board. And even though it's 10 p.m. and our brain is fried, we still have to figure out the logistics to book a meeting room for our club next week. Premeds do it all and there's no way around it. But because we work in such clearly different ways, we do need different environments and different protected times to support our scholar versus our scrambler time. So for scholarly work, I recommend time where nobody can bother you. For me, that's right now, 4:30 a.m. when the entire world is asleep. For you, it might be 8 p.m. right after dinner, where you put on your headphones, turn on Do Not Disturb, and put your phone on the other side of the room. It doesn't have to be 5 hours. In fact, the most effective time of my day is, interestingly, the 30 minutes to 2 hours that are completely protected and isolated from the rest of the world. I find that 30 minutes of protected time can trump 3 hours of interrupted time. If you're a scrambler work, batch it all together. Drop off your laundry, then send the package, and then order those school supplies off Amazon. And while you walk, make that GroupMe poll and respond to all the emails that you got over the last week. You'd be surprised at how much you can complete in 30 minutes of true scrambler time. And if you do just those two things, you're ahead of 90% of premeds. And I guarantee you, if any premed feels like you're getting ahead, well, they're gonna call you a try-hard or a gunner. And my response, well, that brings us to number 3. Discipline is freedom. This week, I'm going to play basketball with my friends at this beautiful Nike court in Midtown Manhattan. My partner and I are also very excited for some lunch omakase, a walk through Central Park, and some shopping for her winter clothes. On my day off this week, I get to spend it with a buddy from home, lifting and training on the basketball courts. He stayed with us for the last 2 weeks, and it'll be our last workout for some time. And if that's not enough, it all ends with an Odessa concert hosted at the US Open on Saturday night. All of this is only possible because during the week, I woke up at 4 a.m. to film YouTube videos just like this one. Because I knew my partner was going to be late at clinic for 2 nights during the week, I protected those evenings to get ahead of my hospital work and get ahead and write these video scripts. The most common objection that premeds have is that scheduling feels too rigid. And they're right. Scheduling is rigid if you have no purpose to it. But I schedule and I follow this time management system religiously because there is a purpose to it. It gives me the most amount of time and the freedom to live the life that I'd like. To spend time with the people I care about most, doing the things I want to most without compromising the quality of work I need to get done. And at some point, we all have to get more comfortable with the truth. Getting into medical school isn't normal. Remember, 60% of premeds don't get into a single school. And it's normal, it's ordinary to bring other people down because it makes you feel better about your own procrastination. And so we do extraordinary things with our time so that we can get extraordinary results. This attention to detail that separates premeds who get into medical school from those who don't. And if you're applying to medical school in the coming year or two, you don't want to make any of the wrong decisions. Our Premed Catalyst students that submit their applications on time have a 100% acceptance rate. That's more than double the national average. And our results are because we work so closely with students. In fact, we can only take on 4 students per month until we're full. If you'd be interested in getting into some of the strongest programs in the country, click the application advising link to book a free strategy call before we're full for the cycle. Now we've come to number 4, the ideal week exercise. There are millions of ways to manage a calendar, from apps to written daily planners. But regardless of how you hold your calendar, here are 3 things that I optimize my calendar with. Number 1, the one thing. Ever since I've had a to-do list, I've never had a single day where I've crossed everything out. But I will say that 99% of my days are perfect. And that's because I define a perfect day as a day where I complete the one thing. Every night, I ask myself, if I could do only one thing tomorrow, what would that be? And this gives me absolute clarity on the most important thing. For example, yesterday, it was filming this very YouTube video. And so if I get nothing done, I've had a perfect day so long as this video gets filmed. It's 6 a.m., this video is getting filmed, which means if I do nothing else for the rest of the day, I've already had a perfect day. If you finish the most important thing every day for 365 days, can you imagine how productive that year would have been? Number 2, the 1-2 punch. I don't have many time management hacks, but this is certainly one of them. On one hand, Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time that you allot for it. On the other hand, you can take another concept called batching, where you take many tasks that are similar and do them all together. Now we have what we call a time cheat code. For example, if you have to start walking to class at 9 a.m., you can batch all of your emails and force yourself to start at 8:40 a.m. And suddenly you'll see that all those emails that you needed to respond to magically get responded to within those 20 minutes. This 1-2 punch combo forces you to really just respond to what you need to in a way where you're not wasting extra time, and all of those small tasks that are looming over your head just get eliminated one by one. 3, planners plan, doers do. Every Sunday night, I plan my week for the next 2 weeks. So when a random Tuesday at 10 a.m. comes, I look at my calendar and I already know that the best version of myself back on Sunday night had the foresight to predict what is best for me to be doing right at this very moment. So there's no negotiating. There's no me convincing myself that maybe I should study some other time. I trust that what is scheduled is what I am meant to do. And that way I can worry entirely on just doing the thing, executing the plan. With that being said, we're not always perfect at planning our lives. High achievers like you and I often overestimate what we can get done in some period of time. And that brings us to number 5, review the data. It never lies. At the end of the day, I like to just review the calendar to see where I deviated. Turns out that 15-minute lunch break is probably not realistic. And I ultimately took an entire hour on the couch to debrief and rot away, but it was necessary to recharge. And most importantly, this happens with a ton of type A premeds. Make sure to give yourself grace. Don't get upset that you didn't follow this picture-perfect plan. Learn from the data and adjust accordingly. Now you know, after 10 hours of classes, it's impossible to go hit leg day at the gym. Don't beat yourself up because this is a lifelong journey of improvements where you get better day by day and week by week. Choose to be satisfied and celebrate your growth. And this brings us to my favorite time management or productivity perspective. Number 6, we own our time. Time management and productivity can feel either very dry or very frustrating. But because time management has given me everything I've ever wanted in my life, I try hard to combat stigmas and give time management a good light. I want to remind you that at this very moment, you are doing whatever you want to be doing. We are always in control. If you don't want to be studying at 10 p.m. while your best friend is out on the town, you have choices. Make moves to get the work done in advance so that you're available. Or you can decide that this test is not worth losing out on your youth, or accept that you'll miss this one, but you won't the next. You're always in control and you always have options. It's not like that test is holding a gun to your head. And even if you truthfully do not have any options, you still always have the choice to accept the situation and be satisfied. This is your time and you are more powerful than you think. This brings us to the most powerful time management technique. Number 7, the infinite lever. Isn't it interesting that I can play basketball for 3 hours, but I cannot run for 3 minutes? It's just mental torture. And I can spend 3 hours with Vietnamese Community Health, but running through a meeting agenda for 3 minutes when I was the president of Brain Sport, that felt like a lot. You might be able to study for physics for 3 hours, but 3 minutes of cars might make you throw up your hands up and quit. The largest competitive advantage with time management and productivity is to do things that you love. If you're investing time there, no one can stand a chance. If you liked this video, you'll now need to know the 10 brutal truths that I wish I knew when I started my pre-med journey at UCLA 10 years ago. That video is here. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.